Hello YouTube. I wanted to come on and give my take or say a few words about the Batman movie massacre that happened in Colorado. And my thoughts is that this whole thing is a staged event. I want to say that I'm sorry for the people who lost family members and people who were killed during this, but in my opinion, this whole thing is a stage setup. A lot of people don't like to hear that. They, just cannot possibly believe that the government or people inside the government would stage something like this, but oh yes they will. Oh yes they will. In case you haven't heard, there's going to be a meeting in the UN where some kind of a treaty is going to be promoted or going to be announced, and Obama and Hillary Clinton are supposedly going to sign this. It's a gun ban for Americans. They're trying to ban guns in America. And what way to do this is to have something like this happen, to get people all up in arms against people carrying guns, to make it easier for them to push it through and have other people who are blind or who are ignorant to what's happening to demand gun control. And what's ironic about this is that that particular theater in that city, they did have gun laws to stop people from bringing guns onto their premises. But as some of these liberals and other people just cannot seem to get through their thick skulls, is that when you have gun control, all you're doing is putting law-abiding citizens at risk. The very nature of criminals is that they do not obey laws. If they want a gun, they're going to get guns, whatever means they can get them. A criminal does not obey laws. They're going to get guns and they're going to be armed. If there was one person in that theater who was carrying a gun and saw this person doing all of this, all it would take is for them to shoot them and save multiple lives by stopping this gunman or gunmen. There's some evidence out there now that, like I said, I think it's staged, but there's evidence that there's another person, because those canisters of smoke or tear gas, whatever that was, they're saying that came from different sides of the theater, and someone saw someone go out of an emergency exit, and then later somebody else, or maybe that same person armed, came back in that same door. So this whole thing, it reeks of being staged. I put nothing past the government. If they can sit there and accept Barack Hussein Obama, knowing that all the things surrounding this man are just a fraud, including his birth certificate, him using all of these different social security numbers of dead people, and him closing his school records and all of these other records that people cannot get a hold of. No, I do not trust these people for anything. They are capable of doing anything, even murdering. They're killing people over in these other countries right now with their drones. And if you will recall, when this so-called Arab Spring started to happen, a lot of people who call themselves Christians who voted for Obama were up in arms that he was bombing Libya and doing all of these things in these Middle East countries, who basically they were pretty much at peace with Israel. They had done nothing, but all of a sudden Obama is bombing Libya. Even Farrakhan was upset that Obama was bombing Libya. And now we got all of these Islamic countries in the Middle East power shifting to the Muslim Brotherhood, who Obama is somehow connected to. So I put nothing past the government. I put nothing past Barack Hussein Obama and Hillary Clinton. I put nothing past these wicked people of staging some kind of event to cause people to be in an uproar and demand gun control so that they can get their political agenda passed to take away the people's guns in this country. And when they take away the guns, that's going to be it. You know that this is phony. Look at Barack Hussein Obama. He had some kind of a meeting in Florida when this happened, and he gave a little speech and talking about this is the time for prayer and reflection, and had like a little 10-15 second moment of silence. And this man is evil. He's a liar. This mess was staged, because if he really cared about people losing their lives, all you have to do is look at his own state of Illinois. Look at his district in Illinois where he came from when he was a senator, a state senator, and then a U.S. senator. He's talking about he's going to do all he can do to protect the American citizens. He cannot protect the people that are in his own district in Illinois, in his own state of Illinois. If you go and look up on the internet and you look at the crime stats in Chicago and in Illinois, they are off the charts. I saw an article where in just 3 months alone, I think it was like 120 or 140 something people murdered in a 3-month period. And he's talking about he's going to do all he can do to protect the American citizens. And he can't even protect his district in Chicago, in Illinois. And these people are already under a gun ban. Don't you see that? Liberals do not think correctly. When you're trying to do a gun ban, and of course Obama, he knows this. This is all by design. This is by design with these people. They want to do this. And other people who call themselves liberals who just are just ignorant, they're the ones who just are blind and can't see it. When you take the guns out of the hands of law-abiding citizens, you leave them defenseless. Because, like I said before, criminals are not going to obey the law. That's why they're called criminals. They're going to get guns by whatever means, and then we're going to be sitting ducks with no means of protection against these devils and demons. And that's what Bill and Hillary Clinton want. That's what Barack Hussein Obama wants. That's what all these wicked liberals want. And so they have total control over the American people. And they'll get to set up more of the TSAs. Now I guess they have TSA units in all of the theaters, at the shopping malls. You have to go through these naked body scanners or be molested and sexually assaulted by these wicked people just to go to the mall, to go shopping, or to go to the grocery store. It's ridiculous. I feel sorry for the families again, but this nation is under judgment. And I know a lot of times when something like this happens, it's people like Pat Robertson who comes on the TV and talks about how this country is under judgment, and then the liberal media jump all over him and he ends up backing off or apologizing. I'm not apologizing. Anybody that reads their Bible knows that there is a direct relationship to the way that people behave in a nation, especially the leaders, and God's judgment. You're going to see a whole lot more of this kind of thing happening. Not just only the staged ones, but copycat people who see this and they start doing this. So this country is under judgment. I did a lookup under the number of abortions that are done, and I went to specifically Barack Hussein Obama's state of Illinois to see how many babies are murdered, how much innocent blood is shed in his home state of Illinois. And it's amazing how many people are going to these abortion clinics and murdering their own children. It's stunning. And people think that God is not going to judge this mess, the innocent blood that's shed. all the immorality. And this brings to mind the book that's out there, a bestseller now, that's on the bestsellers chart, about the book of Isaiah. I think some man wrote this book talking about if America repents and all of this. I agree with some of these other pastors and preachers who are saying that that book is nothing but it's just making this person a lot of money, because this country is not going to repent. I mean, we are not the same kind of people that we used to be years ago, decades ago, when normal, everyday people were pretty much decent people wanting good. But now, with abortion, people murdering their babies left and right, this homosexual marriage and all this stuff, all in people's faces, the drugs, wanting now to legalize drugs, and these people are not going to give up their sins. Just like the book of Revelation says, where it says, these people repented not of their murders, of their fornications, of their sorceries, which that root word means pharmacia, their drugs, nor did they give up their thefts. They're simply not going to give it up. And I'm sorry if somebody is offended by what I'm going to say now, but it is the truth. Some of these people, you hear stories of the ones who were shot in this massacre. I'm sorry that it happened to them, but you see many of these stories where it says that the boyfriends jumped out in front of the girlfriends to protect them when the shooting started. I wonder how many of these couples or how many of these people were having sex out of wedlock, how many of them had abortions, how many of these people are involved in drugs. I have to ask this stuff. And there were a lot of innocent people in there, children, underage children. Another question, why did these people have young children after midnight watching a Batman movie, this dark, demonic movie, after midnight, 6-year-olds, 4-month-olds? What were they doing in a movie theater watching this kind of junk and trash with their children? But God takes care of the innocent children immediately. The ones who died, they are immediately in the arms of Jesus in heaven. But the other ones, this is a wake-up call. Every single day is a wake-up call. This whole nation as a whole, like I said, I don't believe that they're going to give up their fornications. I mean, I say something to people about, them having sex out of marriage, not being married. I'm, suggesting that they get married. They look at me like I'm crazy. They look at me like I'm stupid. Just because I'm saying, you shouldn't be having sex outside of marriage, you should go ahead and get married. And they look at me like I'm crazy, even giving me the evil eye. So, and it's not just around in my area, it's all over this country. People are not going to give up their fornications. They're not going to stop living together and shacking together, having sex out of wedlock. They're not going to stop taking their drugs. They're going to not stop drinking their alcohol and partying and all that. They're not going to give it up. They're not going to give up their abortions. I showed on the screen where the ones in Illinois, look at the age group of these people having abortions. And I saw on another website where it was given the reasons that these people have abortions, and it's out of convenience. They don't want to have a baby that's going to inconvenience them in their schooling or their work or their careers. It's convenience, and that's innocent blood that's shed. And you think that God is not seeing this? The book says that when Cain murdered Abel, that his innocent blood was screaming out to God, from the ground. And you don't think that all these many millions of babies over the years in this country alone, that blood, that the people are not going to have to answer for that? We're under judgment. We're under judgment. Each one of us, we need to examine ourselves. We need to repent. We need to get right with God. And we can do that as individuals, but like I said, this whole nation, uh, it's not going to change, especially when you got leaders like Barack Hussein Obama. It's going to get worse. He when he came out for same-sex marriages, all that did was just added more judgment to this country that's going to be coming. It's going to be coming down. Um, I believe that each individual again can repent, and God will protect and keep those who belong to Him. There's a whole lot more of this coming, and be ready to meet God at any moment. Barack Hussein Obama and his little moment of silence did nothing. It did absolutely nothing. I would not pray with him, because if you're praying with him and following after him while he prays, he's praying to the devil. Satan is his God. It's just the plain truth. It's the way it is. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.